We now have a film on our next guest of honor, Dr. Seetha Ram and Dr. Lakshmi Seetha Ram. May I request the technical team to relay the film.
Dr. Seetha Ram is an internationally recognized thought leader at the Asian Development Bank with decades of professional experience in development cooperation, infrastructure policy, systems thinking, diplomacy, and human values. He is a visiting professor on secondment from Asian Development Bank at the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, National University of Singapore since September 2008, and is non-currently the founding director of the NUS Global Asia Institute and the Institute of Water Policy. Under his direction, the two institutes conduct cutting-edge integrative research on topics pivotal to the future of Asian cities and effective water policies, respectively. Dr. Seetha Ram has obtained a mechanical engineering degree from the Indian Institute of Technology and has received his master's in industrial engineering and management from the Asian Institute of Technology, Bangkok, Thailand. In recognition of his pioneering contribution to promoting engineering education and public policy, he was elected a Fellow of the Faculty of Engineering, University of Tokyo. Dr. Lakshmi Seetha Ram is a researcher and educator trained in Japan with international experience spanning more than 2 decades. After completing a PhD in medicine 1993 at the Institute of Medical Sciences, University of Tokyo, she was a postdoctoral fellow at IMS till 1996. As an active member of the Health Committee of the Spouses Association of the Asian Development Bank and a regional expert for the UN Habitat, she has designed and conducted several programs on health, education, water, hygiene, and sanitation. Since 2000, she is a board director of the Institute of Sathya Education, San Pedro, that conducts training and diploma-level programs on integration of human values in education. We are honored to welcome Dr. Seetha Ram and Dr. Lakshmi Seetha Ram.
Dr. Seetha Ram, Founder Director, NUSGAI, Visiting Professor, the University of Tokyo, Special Advisor, East Japan Railway Company, and International Staff, Asian Development Bank. And Dr. Lakshmi Seetha Ram, Researcher and Educator, Board Director, Institute of Sathya Education, San Pedro, USA.
Can we all close our eyes for a few moments? Sit straight and close our eyes. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva tvameva sarvam mama deva deva tvameva sarvam mama
Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, as you open your eyes, I would like to request you to write on your notepad the most important quality that comes to your mind as a teacher. Take a few seconds to write it up. We're very happy to be here in front of you. The qualifications that are mentioned in the biodata and the film are not those that matter. What matters is that we are also a fellow member of this noble community that you are all part of, an educator. It is the educator who produces a leader, a business person, a doctor, every individual in a society. Teaching has become a passion in our lives. Our journey in the past several decades took us to various parts of the world where we studied, listened to, and wanted to find out what education is about. You can see on the board, we learned that education is not for merely earning a living. Education is for life.
शिक्षा जो है जीने के लिए खाली नहीं है, जीवन के लिए है. See, as you saw in the UN habitat where I used to work with an organization called SEAMEO, S-E-A-M-E-O, SEAMEO, the Southeast Asian Ministers Education Organization. So we used to do the policy and curriculum for whole of Southeast Asia. All the education ministers of Southeast Asia, we used to get together, and I used to be advisor for that. Every country I went to, every institution I went to, I always thought our curriculum is better, teachers are more equipped, they have better degrees, our textbooks are better. Then why are we failing? I used to ask educators, what do you teach? Somebody will say, oh, I teach grade 4. Somebody will say, I teach economics. And I used to smile. I used to think, no, we are teaching the child. We are teaching that human being to bring out the very best human potential. And I call that human excellence. And as our previous speaker, distinguished speaker said, we cannot do it unless we lead by example.
So for this transformation, what is it that we need to do? So we decided that we will also try to experiment by ourselves. So we went ahead to build a school. And in this school, we made a laboratory where we tested on the teaching methods, the curriculum, and understand what education does to the individual, not only for the head, but also to the heart. And how do we transform the child into an individual who can contribute to the society when he or she grows up?
See, let me share an episode. It was February 2013. 1999, we started the school, and this episode happened in 2013. I usually go to school very early in the morning. I leave home at 5 a.m. to be at school at 7 a.m. It takes 2 hours to travel. And I saw a young man in front of the office in overcoat and a suitcase standing outside. And हमने सोचा इतनी सुबह सुबह कौन सा अतिथि स्कूल के सामने आके खड़ा है, हमें भी नहीं पता है. 7 बजे सुबह सुबह. And I went near, and this young man fell at my feet and said, Mom, you don't remember me? I'm Ben-Hur. Prince, that is his nickname. Ben-Hur came as a toddler to our school for kindergarten. He had a mentally challenged mother. He had never seen his father, who had gone away to the US before he was born and never came back. Imagine what kind of a childhood this child would have had. Drama.
every year, we used to organize a drama festival on human values to convey to the public and teachers in other schools, how do we teach? What are the methodologies that we use? And we used to use our students to also put up a drama. That year, the drama was about a young child who wants to become a medical student, but he didn't have the money to study in the medical college. So as the story goes, he writes a letter to God asking for a scholarship. But it happens that this letter falls in the hands of a philanthropist who secretly, without the student knowing it, chooses to give a scholarship to the student, and then the student studies in the medical college. It's like any drama script that you can imagine.
So as you can see, the boy in the white dress there is Ben-Hur. That was when he was in grade 6. So that morning, when I saw him outside the office and he fell at my feet, we both cried. Teachers, I know many of you have your own children, but when you take care of children in your classroom, students, whether it's college students or school students, it doesn't matter. When you feel for them as though they are your very own, then you do your best and they do their best. And this is what happened with Ben-Hur. He cried, he came and told me how it was only during the graduation that his father came to school. That was the first time we also saw the father. And the father took the two boys to the US. But the sad state was the father had remarried in the US, and therefore the boy was left to fend for himself. We study in English, but we teach Tagalog in Philippines. That's the national language. So this boy worked in a garage. He had to earn money, fend for himself, study English well enough to be able to pass the A levels in the American school. And now he had come back. He cried. He spent the whole week with me at the school just to let us know what he was doing. He shared a very, very touching speech. But that Human Values Drama Festival and what we taught in the school changed him. He said he wanted to come back and serve his country, but he had no money after passing school. He needed to join college, so he just came to inform us that he's going to join the US Army so that the army will fund him to go to medical school, and then he'll come back and serve as a dentist as we used to.
Can you imagine the speech that he gave? I've just put some excerpts on the slide here. It was so touching. It brought tears to all of us. Dear teachers, how can we create many such Ben-Hurs among us? I'm sure you have such stories also. We want to hear from you after this session.
So I want to share with you the next slide about the learning process. I'm not going to go into details because this is one of the methodologies that we use to bring values. Now this yellow circle here shows the human body, and the only way the body receives information from the outside world is through the 5 senses. So what do we do in our classrooms, in our institutions? We teach the children how to receive information correctly through the 5 senses from the outside world. For example, right now you're listening to me. Sound waves are passing to your external ear and to your brain, and you're receiving the information here, but if your conscious mind is not alive, then you will not make sense of what I say. So our challenge is how to do the teaching in such a way that we keep the conscious mind of the student active in the classroom so that all the information that goes within the conscious mind goes to the subconscious, and the subconscious is at peace all the time. Because as Ben-Hur said, and as I said earlier, you are only bringing out the best in the child. See, when the child is born first, you see a newborn baby. The child is smiling all the time. You don't have to teach it how to smile. You don't have to teach what love is. Love is inherent in the child. So we are all born with those values. We don't need to teach them that. But we need to teach them how to receive the information and put it in the subconscious in such a way that that love, when it is in spoken words, love as thought becomes truth. Love in action becomes right action. And love as you feel becomes peace. And that is what this university is about. How do we propagate peace?
We want to summarize 3 messages to understand how we were able to visualize the role of a teacher using examples of 3 trees we learn from the nature: the mango tree, the coconut tree, and the banana tree.
आम का पेड़, नारियल का पेड़ और केला का पेड़. So we'll close with this message.
The mango tree produces many fruits. In fact, it produces lots of flowers, but not all flowers become fruits. Not all fruits are sweet. Some fruits are eaten by birds, and then they go and fall somewhere, and the seed grows into a sapling. So the mango tree does not necessarily have another tree growing next to it.
Just like this, the teacher teaches many students. Some blossom immediately, some blossom later, but they can blossom at anywhere, any part of the world, not necessarily in the same place.
The coconut tree, very interestingly, we need to take a coconut, plant it. For the first 5 years, nothing may be happening because it's still sprouting from the ground. After about 10 years, the first coconut comes. But once it is grown, maybe for 75, even 100 years, it will be giving coconuts to everybody.
And that is the Ben-Hur model. Can we create leaders who will live by example?
The banana tree is the most interesting example to me. In one go, it will give all the fruits in the banana tree. But as soon as that is done, a young sapling will be growing just beneath the mother banana tree to continue this process of giving fruits again and again.
So the banana tree, it produces what? The next generation plant. So also the inspiring teacher, he ensures succession through generations. So success is about creating successors, and that is what you all teachers have to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Seetha Ram.